Chandrayaan-1. Chandrayaan-1 was the first Indian lunar probe under Chandrayaan program. It was launched by the Indian Space Research Organisation in October 2008, and operated until August 2009. The mission included a lunar orbiter and an impactor. India launched the spacecraft using a PSLV-XL rocket, on the 22nd of October 2008 at 0:52 Coordinated Universal Time from Satish Dhawan Space Centre, at Sriharikota, about 80 kilometers north of Chennai. The mission was a major boost to India's space program, as India researched and developed its own technology in order to explore the Moon. The vehicle was inserted into lunar orbit on the 8th of November 2008. On the 14th of November 2008, the Moon Impact Probe separated from the Chandrayaan orbiter at 14:36 Coordinated Universal Time and struck the South Pole in a controlled manner, making India the fourth country to place its flag on the Moon. The probe hit near the crater Shackleton at 15:01 Coordinated Universal Time, ejecting subsurface soil that could be analyzed for the presence of lunar water ice. The location of impact was named as Jawahar Point. The estimated cost for the project was 386 crore rupees, 56 million United States dollars. The lunar mission carried 5 ISRO payloads and 6 payloads from other space agencies including NASA, ESA, and the Bulgarian Aerospace Agency, which were carried free of cost. Among its many achievements was the discovery of widespread presence of water molecules in lunar soil. Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee announced the Chandrayaan project on course in his Independence Day speech on the 15th of August 2003. The mission was a major boost to India's space program. The idea of an Indian scientific mission to the Moon was first mooted in 1999 during a meeting of the Indian Academy of Sciences. The Astronautical Society of India carried forward the idea in 2000. Soon after, the Indian Space Research Organisation, ISRO, set up the National Lunar Mission Task Force, which concluded that ISRO has the technical expertise to carry out an Indian mission to the Moon. The spacecraft used a bipropellant integrated propulsion system to reach lunar orbit as well as orbit and altitude maintenance while orbiting the Moon. The power plant consisted of one 440N engine and 8 22N thrusters. Fuel and oxidizer were stored in 2 tanks of 390 liters, 100 US gal each. Chandrayaan-1 was launched on the 22nd of October 2008 at 0:52 Coordinated Universal Time from Satish Dhawan Space Centre using the ISRO's 44.4 meters tall, 4-stage PSLV launch vehicle. Chandrayaan-1 was sent to the Moon in a series of orbit-increasing maneuvers around the Earth over a period of 21 days as opposed to launching the craft on a direct trajectory to the Moon. For the duration of the mission, ISRO's Telemetry, Tracking and Command Network, ISTRAC, at Pune in Bangalore, tracked and controlled Chandrayaan-1. Scientists from India, Europe, and the US conducted a high-level review of Chandrayaan-1 on the 29th of January 2009 after the spacecraft completed its first 100 days in space. The Moon Impact Probe, MIP, crash-landed on the lunar surface on the 14th of November 2008, 15:01 Coordinated Universal Time near the crater Shackleton at the South Pole. The MIP was one of 11 scientific instruments payloads on board Chandrayaan-1. ISRO reported on the 27th of November 2008 that the spacecraft was operating under normal temperature conditions. In subsequent reports, ISRO says, since the spacecraft was still recording higher than normal temperatures, it would be running only one instrument at a time until January 2009 when lunar orbital Temperature conditions are said to stabilize. It was initially thought that the spacecraft was experiencing high temperature because of radiation from the Sun and infrared radiation reflected by the Moon. However, the rise in spacecraft temperature was later attributed to a batch of DC-DC converters with poor thermal regulation. The mission was launched on the 22nd of October 2008 and expected to operate for 2 years. However, around 2000 Coordinated Universal Time on the 28th of August 2009, communication with the spacecraft was suddenly lost. The probe had operated for 312 days. The craft had been expected to remain in orbit for approximately another 1,000 days and to crash into the lunar surface in late 2012, although in 2016 it was found to still be in orbit. A member of the Science Advisory Board of Chandrayaan-1 said that it is difficult to ascertain reasons for the loss of contact. Although the mission was less than 10 months in duration, and less than half the intended 2 years in length, a review by scientists termed the mission successful, as it had completed 95% of its primary objectives. Data gathered by Chandrayaan-1 was made available to the public by the end of the year 2010. The data was split into 2 seasons, with the first season going public by the end of 2010 and the second going public by the mid of 2011. The data contained pictures of the Moon and also data of chemical and mineral mapping of the lunar surface. Chandrayaan-2 is a follow-up mission which was launched on July 22, 2019. The third mission, called Chandrayaan-3, is tentatively scheduled for 2024. Chandrayaan's imagery will be used to identify regions of interest that will be explored in detail by the NASA Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. The interest lies in identifying lunar water on the surface lunar outpost that can be exploited in setting up a future lunar outpost. The mini-SAR, one of the U.S. payloads on Chandrayaan, was used to determine the presence of water ice. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Footprints for more videos.